What's going on to all my movie fans out there, and welcome back to my channel, MovieFiles. We are back with a brand new movie review, and today we're talking about the new John Boyega thriller drama based on true events by the name of Breaking. Now, the film did premiere at the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year, which mostly, from what I heard, was very positive reviews, and during that time, it actually went under a different title, which was 892. The film is coming out August 26th. I got a chance to check it out early, and by the end of this review, I'm going to let you all know if it's worth checking out, all in this spoiler-free breakdown. Before we get into today's discussion, if this happens to be one of your first time watching one of my videos, I want to welcome you to this community. If you enjoy early movie reviews like we're doing today, daily and weekly TV breakdowns, and live streams, well, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up. Let's try to get this to 100 plus likes, and also do me a favor, share the video to anyone and everyone you know that might be interested in seeing this movie. But more importantly, I want to know your thoughts on this film, from the story, the direction, the performances, the commentary that the film has to say, what worked, what didn't work. Let's talk about it in the comments below. So first and foremost, I just want to put it out there that this film really got to me on an emotional level, and I'll get to those reasons a little bit later here in this breakdown. But the film is based on true events. It's based on an article as well that went down in 2017. Now, I didn't know about the event. I watched the film first, then did the research after, and I would advise you all to do the same. If you're not too familiar with the story, hold off on reading the article because it might give away some of the things that went down in the movie. And of course, hold off on Googling it and YouTubing it, watch the film, and then come back and do the research later. But let's get into my thoughts here. First and foremost, Abi Damaris Corbin, who's the director and co-writer of this film. This is my first time watching one of her features film, and I thought that she did such a great job of, again, after doing the research and learning about this scenario, she just presented the facts. I've seen my fair share of movies based on true events, and you see it countless time after time and after time, where you unfortunately see a lot of creative liberties in films like that, and they kind of stretch things out and they add things in that just takes away from the authenticity of the narrative. And I thought that Abi did the opposite of that. Now, of course, there are some characters that might have been added to the film, some other things that might have been added just to kind of, make it a feature film, because it is based on an article, which I believe was only 30 pages long. So they do have to add some things in, but it doesn't take anything away from what the film is trying to convey, what it's trying to present to you. And it's just a really well done movie from a perspective of, again, Abi, she's a white female telling this story about a black man and what it's like being black in America in a situation that Brian, who John Boyega plays in this film, which goes to the credit of having a black co-writer. They're able to inject that perspective of, again, what it's like being black in America, number one, but also what it's like being black in this situation that John Boyega's character finds himself in. So I thought that true to the narrative, authentic, compelling, thrilling, and very heartbreaking. So on that level, very well done. And also from a direction level, there was some really great shots. It was really well put together. Some really well done transitional shots, which I thought from some people might not notice those little minute things, but it was something I noticed, and I definitely applaud the production team and the crew doing all those great things. But let's talk about these great performances. Starting off with our supporting cast, Nicole Beharie. I am such a big fan of hers, and she is playing one of our two tellers that are being held hostage in this situation. Again, just a little bit of the story without giving too much away for those that aren't too familiar with it. John Boyega plays Brian. Now, Brian is an ex-Marine who comes home from his time serving, and unfortunately, we hear it so many times, unfortunately, where people that serve come back home and are mistreated. They're not getting help from the government, and this is that same scenario. He's getting taken advantage of by the VA. He is trying to support his ex-wife and his daughter, and he has met ends meet, and he decides to take it upon himself to go down to a Wells Fargo. He has a bomb in his bag, and he's not only threatening to take his own life, but also the people that are working at the bank, which brings me back to Nicole Beharie. She plays one of the senior managers in this position. This film is about an hour and 40 minutes, so we mostly focus on John Boyega, and we don't have that much backstory from the supporting cast, but someone like Nicole Beharie and the rest of the cast are able to convey backstory without giving us exposition or showing us how these people feel. They're able to convey it with their eyes and their emotions and the way that they're delivering lines. You can tell that Nicole's character She is scared, but she's also sympathetic to the situation. She wants to get back home to her family, and I thought that she was just so fantastic. Match that with the other teller in this film, played by the great Selenis Leyva, who I'm a big fan of, and she is definitely has taken this situation, and she's very upset, she's very nervous, she's very scared, and it makes sense because, again, her life is, she's being told that she might not make it back home to her family, and I thought she was great. And then Michael K. Williams, who, if you all know, we recently lost him not too long ago. One of my favorite actors of all time. I mean, from The Wire to Boardwalk Empire to most, a couple years ago, Lovecraft Country. Just a fantastic filmography on television and in the movies. And if I'm not mistaken, this was one of his last performances, and he gave us something special in this performance. He plays a negotiator in a situation, trying to talk to Brian, trying to relate to Brian, trying to get everyone home safely. And I thought that he did such a great job. And he's just doing his best because it's one of those situations where, again, this is a black man in this situation. And I can hear in the comments now, it's not always about race. Well, in this particular scenario, race becomes an issue in this problem. And I thought that Michael did such a great job of just being great, as he always is. And again, rest in peace, the late, great Michael K. Williams. He was fantastic. But speaking of fantastic, y'all, John Boyega is in his bag in this movie. He's giving us our Denzel Washington type of performance. I think of John Q. Denzel is my favorite actor of all time. And John Boyega has been building his resume from Attack the Block to obviously seeing him being so underused in the Star Wars franchise. You see him in so many other projects. He's such a fantastic actor, and he just gives us such a great, compelling, sympathetic, just heart-wrenching, heartbreaking performance in this role as Brian. Again, he is a veteran. He's an ex-Marine, served his time, goes back home, and just is just not treated to the way he should be. And again, we'll talk about this a little bit later as far as my thoughts on that. But you understand, number one, he's committing a crime. You 100% understand that, but John Boyega is able to convey this level of sympathy to his character and understanding of where he's coming from, and he just wants to be done right. And I thought that John was just so fantastic from when you first meet him, interacting with his daughter, to seeing him in this situation. He's upset, but he's also, again, he's a human, and he knows he's doing wrong. Like, he's constantly apologizing to the tellers, like, when he's on the phone, I need you to call 911, I need you to call the news station, I want people to know what's going on, I want people to know the VA is screwing me over. But then he's also like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's just such a great performance, and I hope he gets the recognition in this role. It's a small independent movie, so I don't know if it'll get the Oscar push that it probably deserves, but he's giving you an Oscar-worthy performance. So performances are great. And just, I mentioned earlier how this film got to me on an emotional level. Again, in my day job, not to get too much into myself here, but I work as a real estate agent, and I work with a lot of veterans, and you hear so many different stories, countless stories of people, trying to get a house and a VA and all the different things they go through, and you hear their stories, and I see it all the time being in St. Louis. You come across a lot of homeless people, unfortunately, are veterans, ex-Marine, Navy SEALs and whatnot, and you just hear their stories, and you feel bad for them. And I know in some cases, with alcohol and drugs, and they kind of take their life down a certain path, but again, and it goes back to not being service when they come home from the government. And that, in this film, really kind of just got to me on a level. We're all just trying to make it, right? And do right by people. And you never know how much or how you're doing today, opening the door for someone, listening to someone, being there for people, how long and how much that can do to someone's mental state in a positive way. And the film really does a good job of, again, it doesn't shove it down your throat and saying that the government's terrible, but it shows you the facts, how people in these positions of power to make these decisions, how they are really affecting people's lives on a very sad level. And the film really does a good job of displaying that. So those are some really great things that stood out to me. The film isn't perfect, but it's a lot of small, minute things that would have gotten maybe a little bit more backstory here and there, especially with John Boyega's character, his time in the service and all that stuff. And there's a particular incident that happens earlier on in the film where he's trying to get his check and how all that shakes out. So I wish there was some more time to kind of sit in scenes, but small, minor details. Overall, at the end of the day, do I recommend you all give this a watch? Yes. This film is very compelling. This film has great direction, really well written. Performances are top notch, especially from our supporting cast. As I mentioned, again, rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, and John Boyega is fantastic. It's compelling. It is extremely thrilling, and it is extremely heartbreaking to see this man being disserviced and the situation that how it all shakes out. It's a very heartbreaking film, and it's a film I recommend you all give a watch. With that being said, I'm going to give Breaking a 4 out of 5. Again, this film will be coming out on August 26th. Now, I believe it's from Breacher Street, and I've seen a lot of their films. They have limited releases in theaters, so check out your local theater, see if it's playing, and if so, definitely take the chance to see it. And if not, I'm pretty sure it'll be available on VOD pretty soon around that August 26th release date. So, hey, that's my thoughts, pros, cons, and everything in between. 4 out of 5 for Breaking. Give it a watch. When you do, let me know what you thought of the film. Again, did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think about the commentary that the film had to say? And if you yourself have a personal story about maybe serving in the military or serving in the army and having a similar circumstance, as far as not similar circumstance and robbing a bank and everything that went down in this film, but your thoughts and opinions on how people that serve in these different positions aren't treated the way they should be. Let's have those discussions in the comments as well. So I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you stuck around to this point of a review, thank you, thank you, thank you. Before you leave, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. We got a lot of content coming out. Like I said, we cover a lot of TV, so keep an eye out for the reviews, the after shows, and so much more. From me to you, hope you all are staying safe. Again, it goes a long way to check in on people, be nice to people, and just do right by people. With that being said, come and join the community. Check out my other reviews. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.